to be your instructor for this course, which is Reading 2, قراءة ومطالعات. I'd like to welcome you all to this lecture, which is an introductory lecture on the nature of this course, the course content, the course objectives, course evaluation, and the other important details that you need to know before we start the actual teaching. Alright, so first of all, expectations. Now this is very important because this is more or less like the contract between me and you. So what do you expect from me? What do I expect from you? Students' expectations, this is very important. Students, you need to send me emails and tell me your expectations in general. Well, for example, if I were a student, I would expect my teacher to cover the most important parts and to be fair to all students. And obviously, I dislike favoritism. I deal with all students as, or I consider all students as A students or A+ students, in other words. Unless, of course, some students prove otherwise. So I deal with you as an A student unless you prove otherwise. I expect students to attend all the lectures, all the classes, and follow up all the classes. And by follow up here, I mean reading the important parts of the book. Alright? Reading the important parts of the book after the lecture. It's not enough to wait until 1 or 2 days before the exam and then start studying. That's not a good studying habit. You need to develop, new habits, basically, and that's by studying. Throughout the course, I expect you to participate, because participation tells me that this student is a good student, this student is not a serious student. Alright? As I said, I expect every one of you to participate, to attend, to participate, to follow up, and study hard in order to pass this course. So the course content. Reading. Reading is the first of 3 reading courses. So in this program, you have 3 reading courses. I think, or I believe, that this is the first one. Alright? It is aimed at intermediate and post-intermediate levels. So this prepares you for the advanced reading classes that you're going to take later on in this program. It covers various types of texts and focuses on vocabulary building and comprehension. Now this is a basic skill that should be acquired by all learners. So it covers various types of texts, so this is very good. The book, as we will see in a minute, is actually a very interesting book. You can read it for fun, not only for studying. And I already know some students who actually finished this course, who graduated, and every now and then they come back to this course, to the reading course, and read for fun. Alright, so it covers various types of text and focuses on vocabulary building and comprehension. Comprehension of paragraphs, the main ideas of paragraphs, and essays, as we will see. In addition, the course has a self-improvement component. So by the end of each unit, you will have a self-improvement component section in which you can teach yourself, learn at your own pace. So no rushing. You can take your time in the self-improvement component, which widens students' scope and reading abilities. Now this is important. Reading is a skill, whether in Arabic or in English, both. In order to develop yourself, to develop your reading skills, you need to practice a lot. And I presume if you develop your skills or reading skills in one language, your reading skills in the other language will also improve. At least this is my belief, because they are basic skills that are the same basically, no matter what language you are reading or you are reading in. So, for example, skimming, scanning, those are skills, right? So you can apply those skills, you can use those skills in learning Arabic text, English text, or any other languages that you know already. Now the course rationale. In other words, why has this course been suggested? This course has been suggested because students need to build post-intermediate vocabulary. Second, there is a need to develop reading and comprehension skills. As I said, this is crucial these days. The course is needed for enabling students to widen their scope and help them acquire good reading habits. Now, reading habits, not skills. Habits are different from skills. In this book, we are going to focus on both. But let me stress here that students need to actually acquire or learn reading habits. So, what are the good reading habits? There are several, and we will cover a lot of them throughout this course. But let me tell you something. It is very, very difficult, I would say nearly impossible, to acquire those skills or habits one day before the exam. Now, this is important. So, if you haven't practiced skimming and scanning for information, it will be very difficult for you one day before the exam to acquire those skills or habits. So basically, we have a good chance. We have around 4 months now to practice those skills and habits. Course objectives. So what are my objectives in this course? Well, we have here 4 points. So let's read them one by one. First of all, students by the end of this course should demonstrate good reading comprehension skills and knowledge of vocabulary at intermediate and post-intermediate levels. Number 2, show mastery of skimming, scanning, and guessing the meaning of words from the context. Third, show comprehension of general meaning and of the specific information in a text by answering direct questions and making inferences. So sometimes you would have a reading passage and you would have comprehension questions. Sometimes those comprehension questions can be direct, sometimes you need to make inferences. Alright, so you cannot find the answer like in one sentence, but you need to make inferences about the answer, and then you write it using your own words. Also, I expect students to apply self-teaching methods and techniques in developing an individual or group extensive reading program. Now the teaching method, So, well, teaching reading, supervising reading, that's a slippery area. There is a slight difference, but I will not go into that in this lecture. But basically, I would stress on the importance of self-teaching in this course. As I said, in this book, there are several self-improvement sections that the students need to practice themselves. And if you have any difficulties, just send me an email and I will show you or try to explain to you how to overcome those difficulties. Alright, so the course makes use of the following teaching and learning methods. First of all, class reading activities. So throughout this course, we are going to have different reading sessions. So I might stop at one lecture and say, okay, now you need to read, for example, passage number 8 in page 11 or whatsoever. Alright, so I expect you to actually do the reading yourself. Also practicing scanning and skimming using teacher-prepared texts and the assigned book. And the assigned book is very, very useful, as I stated from the very beginning. Number 3, we have class reports and presentations based on students' individual or group extensive reading activities. And finally, if we have any quizzes or assignments, there are some sections that I'm going to ask you to do at home, at your own pace, to do them yourself or with a friend. That's absolutely fine. Now the important part, which is course evaluation. As we can see from the slide, we have 10% for attendance, we have 10% for participation, we have 10% for assignments, and they all make 30%, which we call coursework, in other words. And then at the end we will have a final exam, which will be out of 70. And now I'm sure that you are familiar with the mark distribution. Obviously the final exam is going to be an objective one. It's going to be multiple choice mostly, or filling in the gaps where appropriate. Now the textbook, this is important. It's interactions 2. It's called reading, of course, and I want you to get the Middle Eastern copy of it. All right, so there's a Middle Eastern copy, and I believe even the Middle Eastern copy, there are 2 different issues. There's a diamond issue and there's a gold one, and the one we are going to use throughout this course is this one, which is the gold edition. All right, so reading interactions 2, Middle Eastern copy, gold. All right, it's written at the top here, gold. All right, some students from last year, they got the diamond one, and sometimes they will, or so actually they actually got lost. So we would be on a different page. They would think that because some pages were similar, that all pages will be the same. Actually not. There are different vocabulary items, different activities on the 2 issues. Now these are the most important parts. If you have any questions, as I said, send me an email. You can find my email on the university's website, and I hope that by the end of this course that you are going to find it useful, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.